हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज़ ऐश्वर्या एंड यू आर वाचिंग यूट्यूब चैनल ऑफ लॉ माइंड्स। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है डिफरेंस बिटवीन पार्लियामेंट्री एंड प्रेसिडेंट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन of what is parliamentary and presidential form of government. As we can say that today more than 50% of world population is ruled by democracy. So what is democracy? According to Abraham Lincoln, डेमोक्रेसी मीन्स जनता का जनता के लिए जनता द्वारा किया गया शासन, दैट इज ऑफ द पीपल बाय द पीपल फॉर द पीपल is known as democracy. There are two types of democratic government. First is direct and second is representative. Every citizen of state has the authority to make political decision under a direct democracy. On the other hand, in representative democracy, those chosen by electoral process serve as a bridge between the state's citizens and the decisions made regarding public policy. On behalf of the people, decisions are made by the person chosen by them. So, we can say that depending on the structure of the executive and the form of government, a representational democracy can be further divided into parliamentary and presidential democracy. Let's see presidential form of government. We can say that in this type of government, the president is the only executive. So this is known as single executive system. Here people directly elect the president, who serves as both the head of the state and head of the government. We can say that in the presidential form of government, the legislative is independent of the executive branch. Here, legislative, executive and judicial branches of the government are separate and independent from one another. The executive branch, led by the president, is in charge of enforcing laws, while the judiciary handles the judiciary responsibility, and the legislative is in charge of creating laws. There are several examples of this type of government, including US, Brazil, South Korea, Turkey, and Indonesia. Now let us see parliamentary form of government. In this type of government, there are two executives. As the head of state, the president serves as the nominal executive. Here, president's job is mostly symbolic, whereas along with the cabinet, the prime minister holds the greatest authority as the head of state, and he is the actual executive. Hence, the cabinet form of government here applies. This type of government is referred as responsible government because here parliament directly answers to the people. Here, legislature holds the executive branch directly accountable. Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, India, and other nations are among those with parliamentary system of government. According to Article 74 and 75 of the Indian Constitution, it provides parliamentary system government at national level, while Article 163 and 164 cover state level provisions for the same. Let us see the difference between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. First is based on separation of powers. As we have said earlier, in parliamentary form of government, executive is responsible to the legislature, and in presidential form of government, legislature, executive and judiciary are independent of each other. In parliamentary form of government, people themselves elect their representative, and in presidential form of government, the president is directly elected by the people. Unlike parliamentary form of government, where people elect representative of the legislature. Third difference is based on executive. As parliamentary form of government is dual executive, where the head of the state and government are different, that is president and prime minister. Or in the presidential form of government, the head of state and government is same, hence it is single executive. Here, ministers in parliamentary form of government are members of the ruling party, whereas in presidential form of government, industry expert outside of the legislature can also be chosen as minister. We can say that in parliamentary form of government, president can dissolve the lower house. But in presidential form of government, president does not have the power to dissolve the lower house. In parliamentary form of government, tenure of prime minister is not fixed, since it is dependent on majority support in the parliament. But in presidential form of government, the tenure of the president is fixed. There are some advantages and disadvantages of parliamentary form of government. First, the advantages. Since the executive is responsible for legislature, there is cooperation between the two. And it is also responsible government, since the people directly elect their representative and legislature is responsible to the people. And we can say that there is check on authoritism in parliamentary form of government. Like advantages, there are some disadvantages in the parliamentary form of government. First is, due to anti-defection laws, minister and legislature are subject to parties' whips, that is parties' commands, and cannot exert their willpower and ideas in decision making. Second is, the parliamentary system is less stable than a presidential system. And third and last is, politics of parties are present, as legislature are vested in self-interest than national interest. These are the main differences, that is advantages and disadvantages found in parliamentary form of government. So let us see advantages and disadvantages in presidential form of government. First advantage is, there is distinct separation of powers, but the executive of legislature watch over each other. And second is, president is more stable, and so the government as compared to parliamentary form of government. Let us see disadvantage. It becomes impossible to remove a president who is unpopular amongst people in this type of presidential form of government. And second is, when the president and legislatures are from different parties, it can result in conflicts, as we can see in presidential form of government. Let's conclude this. Both the presidential and parliamentary systems have their benefits and drawbacks. Supporters of presidential form of government frequently claim that it is more stable than either parliamentary or form of alternative, while some argue that the parliamentary system is superior due to its ability to check the power of the executive branch and facilitate the easy passage of legislation. Others point out that system complex mechanism of share and separate powers check and balance the greater requirement for discussion and compromise among various interest groups during the lawmaking process. Thank you for watching this video.